Greetings and thanks for tuning in today. I'm Dr. 𝗿𝘂𝘁𝘂𝗿𝗏. I'm a doctor of physical therapy and I specialize in medical massage, specifically precision neuromuscular therapy, and performance coaching. One of the biggest posture deficits that I see in runners and ruckers is leaning forward. Now, granted, in rucking, the weight of the rucksack can actually cause a person to lean forward. But more times than not, if that is not the problem, then we're looking at postural control and having the postural endurance to actually run upright with good form or ruck and keep an upright posture as well. So I wanted to go through my go-to exercise for helping with postural control, incorporating breathing with that, and just working in a way that builds endurance. So the way that we do this is we start with some resistance bands. Now, I will preface this. I am going to be doing something that's a little bit different with resistance. And what I mean by that is typically if we're doing strength training, you're going to exhale when you are pushing the load and you're going to inhale on the return. This is not for strengthening purposes. This is for postural endurance. This is for incorporating breathing, and it's for activating muscles, not necessarily really focusing on high load strength building. So the breath work is a little bit different. And what I like to do is start with the W aspect of the VTW. We actually go backwards, but it just sounds better to go VTW. It's smoother to say than WTV. So that's where the history of that comes from. But we take 2 towel rolls and just a hand towel, and we roll that up so that we don't end up doing the chicken dance during this exercise, which would be also cheating the muscles that we're trying to activate. So we start with 2 towel rolls between the elbow and the trunk of your body, and then we're going to choke up on this band so that it does actually give some resistance. Now I'm using a very low resistance, but that's okay, because if you're not used to doing these, this actually will feel very difficult to do, especially if you're hovered over a smart device or a laptop for 8 hours a day. It's going to feel weird to actually open up. So what we do is, if you're standing, we want to make sure that we have standing posture. That's good. And your ear, the whole of the ear is in line with the shoulder. Okay, and when we do this, we're going to inhale, squeeze the shoulder blades together, and open up, and then exhale. So you see, it's not a huge movement. Inhale, squeeze, exhale. So I'm going to turn my back to you, and what we're looking for is a down and squeeze back. So down and back. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. And I typically start people with about 5 to 10 reps once a day, 3 days per week. And we see how they do with that. Now the next exercise, one thing I will preface is you are squeezing your elbows in with that too. So if the towel drops, then that means you are not doing the exercise correctly, which is why we use that tactile cue with the towels so that you are actually doing the exercise properly. Now the next exercise is a T exercise. So we want to loosen up a little bit, and sometimes I just say kind of test this, and the goal is the band should not touch the chest. So it should be about 1 inch away from the chest. And the reason is because your shoulder blade sits at about a 30 to 35 degree angle. So we kind of want to stay right around that when we open up into the T position. We don't want to be way back here where your shoulder is in a weak position, because that can contribute to some shoulder issues. So we want to work the shoulder blades, we want to work the posture and the breathing with the diaphragm, but we don't want to stress or strain the shoulder. So again, we start this way, elbows are straight this time, and we're going to inhale, exhale. And the same rules apply. You're squeezing the shoulder blades down and in. I'm going to face this way again. Down and in. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. I'm going to face this way so you can see the band. Inhale, exhale. So that's the T part. Now for the V, we do a little bit different. We don't do a single arm, because you'd have to step on the band and then come up. That actually puts a lot of tension on the neck and the shoulders because of how long that lever arm is. So instead we do one arm at a time, as if we're drawing a sword. So we choke up a little bit on the band, and then I'm just going to test to see if that's a good resistance, and it is. And so we go from the opposite hip or your pocket. You inhale, follow the band or your hand with your eyes so that you get some neck mobility, and then exhale. Inhale, exhale. And again, you're keeping that shoulder down. You don't want to be hiking up the shoulder like that. You want to keep it down and stable. Inhale, exhale. And then we switch and we do the other side. Inhale, exhale. Again, following the hand with the eyes so that you get some neck rotation. Inhale and then exhale. Do two more. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. So I really like these VTW exercises because they work on the shoulder blade mobility and how your shoulder blades are going over the rib cage. They work on thoracic mobility through extension because you're in an upright position, which is what you want when you're running or rucking. Works on the diaphragm and your core and integrating that with breathing. That's super important because you want to be breathing when you're doing cardiovascular activity, but you want controlled breathing. You want to be in control of your cardiovascular activity, your motion, and these motions don't simulate the running motion or a rucking motion. Sometimes your arms are more down by your side with that, depends. But what it's doing is it's strengthening the shoulder, it's strengthening the posture, and you're putting control back into your exercise by controlling your breathing. It's normal for your heart rate to go up, it's normal for your respiratory rate to go up, but we want that in a controlled way so that you can be stable as you move and so that you stop that slouching forward or that slumping forward motion that can happen to runners and ruckers and just avid exercisers as they progress in their endurance activity. So if you find that your form is breaking down and you've been doing a lot of leg workouts, or maybe you don't do strength at all, incorporate these VTW exercises into your program 2-3 times a week to help to build that upper body control and integrate your breath work and integrate stability and mobility into your cardiovascular routine.